columns is what about 194 columns is what she currently has now. That 194 columns is too much for her to even start analyzing. So she still needs to look through that data set and see what she needs to cut down. When the same data set was sent to me, I just looked through it. But because I don't have this industrial knowledge of what are the jargons that are used in the medical field and all of that, I just have to send it to her that, you know what, I think you'll be able to handle this. So the industry you are looking to work into, when you play with data from that industry over time, it becomes a part of you that when you see a data set, even without opening your system or taking a mouse and start moving around, by just merely looking at the data sets, you're already picturing like a final output of what the data set is going to look like. That's what happens to me now. Most times when I open e-commerce data set, or I'm trying to help somebody to see how their business is performing in terms of sales, maybe in different locations. I handed over one analysis last week. It was for one supermarket that was trying to move to a new location. So they were able to gather information, or more like a survey for people that shops around that place. That, hey, what are the things that you buy the most? How is the price range looks like? So they are using that to compare what they already have on ground, if there will be a sales for them, or if it's just going to be another waste of money. So when I looked at that, I could easily relate with the data sets. I could ask questions that, hey, so what are your delivery modes that you want to be using if someone decides to like say, hey, I don't want to come down to the store. Can I send over my orders so that you can help me to place it and have it delivered to my office? Because right now they don't have a website, and I don't think the CEO guy is even ready to do that. So your industry that you are looking to work with would actually determine which kind of data sets you want to familiarize yourself with. But the sweet part of working in tech is that mostly as a consultant or as a freelancer is that you get to work in diverse industries. Today you can be working in telecoms, and your next project will just take you to like insurance business. So looking at the industry that you want to work with would also help you to look or to know what is actually required of you when it comes to analyzing their data. And LinkedIn is there. I think 70% of my career growth is actually from LinkedIn. I don't use Twitter. I use LinkedIn a lot to leverage. I've worked with clients that I've never imagined I would like work with, even maybe sitting down and having a Zoom meeting conversation with them or whatnot. But LinkedIn has made that possible. So you also want to leverage, connect to people that are in the industry that you're looking to work with, write about what you are learning, and that is generally how you can grow in the data analytics space. And I think data analytics space is like the easiest of anything that comes to data that you can break into. Data engineering is not that so easy to break into because you need years of experience working with data. You need to know about data modeling. You need to know about different type of schemas. We have star schemas and all of those things. You need to know them. If you are talking about analytics engineering, you need to know about the analytics part and then the data engineering part. If you are talking about the data science part, data science is just still using data to predict information. So maybe we are in the rainy season now. Of course, people will buy umbrella a lot, but what's the probability that people will still buy umbrella when there is no rain? Of course, we know that it's going to be sunny and all of that. Will people still buy umbrella, or they only buy it when it's raining? These are the kind of things that you can predict and see how the business will grow. And like I always tell my students, prediction is like just a topping on your ice cream that you are getting from Domino's or whichever fast delivery food you are using. So data science is just the toppings on that, but data science go beyond you just writing up a code to predict information. It goes as far back as knowing mathematics. So which is why we see a lot of people, they will tend to be in data analytics space for years, they now start switching. With the knowledge of analyzing different sort of data, using statistical functions, hypotheses, and all of those things, it's easier for them to grab whatever data science is providing for them. And I think companies are actually the one that determines the job title. So you can see a job title that is saying data science is what they are looking for. And if you look through the job description, you'll be seeing, you will not see anything as regards machine learning. You see something like Excel, SQL, being able to use a business intelligence tool and all of that. Then aside that, one thing you also want to have is edge over every other person. As you are spending 3 hours, like 6 hours per week, there are some that are spending like 24 hours per week. There are some that are spending about 40 hours per week. There are some that are spending about 35 hours per week. There are some that are spending 20 hours per week. So everybody is going at the level that they can. When I started out, I think once I get back from office, from after taking my dinner to like 3 a.m., I'm learning. But then I started increasing. Right now, I think what I do mostly is just read. I hardly have time to take course or any other thing. Right. So welcome, Joseph. And in the last class, we thought that creating different charts and all of that in Tableau. And like I mentioned, all of those charts that we've seen out to, or that we looked at, are not the only type of charts that you can create in Tableau. There is a excessive list of the type of charts that you can create in Tableau. But based on your requirements or how you are willing to present your information to the users, you might require to create some custom functions in order to pull or to create any form of visuals that you are trying to create. So I would open the workbook that we used last time, and where is my entire screen? Okay, that's it. So I will use the workbook you used last time. So let me see if I can go back to the beginning. Okay, so from sheet 1, we looked at creating a bar chart. There are some informations that are best represented with bar charts. You are trying to look at, hey, what's the total population? Okay, so let's try and see. We are looking at populations of states in UK. Maybe we want to see the top populated cities in UK. A bar chart is best to represent that kind of information. But whatever it is that you are using to represent any form of information is actually on you and your ability to decide that, hey, I think this is the best thing that can explain the information that I'm trying to look at. This same bar chart that we have here, another person can decide to use a pie chart to actually represent the same information. And it's not bad. Another person can decide to use a donut chart to actually represent this same information that we have here. But one thing about visualization is that you don't want to use complex information that will leave your audience to still be asking you that, hey, what do you mean by this chart? What do you mean by this chart? You want to give them a visual that as soon as they see it, they can understand what they are looking at. So when I have this bar chart, it's easier for anybody to look at it and say, hey, west is actually the longest bar, then followed by east. Then I can say south is the next, and central to be the least. Now I've added the figures so that it's easier for them to know the values that each of these bars are representing. Now this bar chart right here is not clean. It's not clean in the sense that I'm still having some elements that are distracting. Now, it's distracting for my audience to be looking at this bar, see this value, and also be looking at what I have at the bottom here. It's sort of distracting. So which means that I'm trying to paint a picture in their head that as you are looking at this bar, you need to bring your eye down to know the exact line that the bar is ending. That's sort of like brain work for them. CEOs, decision makers, CFOs, they don't really have time. They just want to look at what you have in 10 minutes and they are done. And whatever it is that you have presented to them should be enough for them to make the decisions that they want to make. And the best way to give all of these things to them is to ensure that you are presenting your visuals in a storytelling format. By adding this label that is showing the values that each of these bars are showing, I'm trying to tell a story by this bar chart already that, hey, the longest bar, you can see the value that the longest bar is holding. Let me try to format this. By looking at this bar chart, it's easier for us to tell them whatever this thing is. So I can, if it's not looking properly there, I can bring it in, maybe make it bold, make it 18. Yeah, this sort of like looks big. I can hide this. When I do this, I have these are my regions, so I can sort this. This way, easier for them to look at the West bar and say, hey, West has like this amount of sales. Now I'm giving them the mental image, which is going to be the bar, and I'm also giving them something that represents that bar. So they don't need to look elsewhere for them to understand the information that I've presented to them. You can have a complex request to be presented as simple as using a bar chart. Then aside that, we asked a question about which subcategory is the we want to see the sales across each subcategory in our data sets. We are using the Superstore data set, and we created a bar chart that helps us to show the sales by each subcategory. We have the bar to be representing them. A typical example would be these two bars. Let me uncheck the labels. Now, if you look at these two, we want our audience to still look more before they can know that, oh, chairs, phones is actually more, we have more sales from phones than compared to chairs. But when I had the value that each of these bars are representing, it's easier for them to easily identify that, oh, for phones, we have a total of 330,000 sales. And then for chairs, we have about 320,000 sales. And we can see the least performing subcategories to be fasteners. So if I'm trying to, if you're trying to make decisions on the subcategory to maybe promote or maybe run discounts on, we don't necessarily need to run discounts on phones and chairs, or maybe even storage, tablets, and binders, because these top 5 are performing optimally. So we might want to start from, okay, from machine down to fasteners. Let's try to see how we can make people buy more. That's what brought about the whole idea of Black Fridays. They want to sell more products, but for a minimum amount that they won't even feel it, though they will feel it at the end of the day, but what they are losing out in terms of discount that they are giving to clients is going to be better than for those products to actually get bad while they are still stored in the warehouse. So after that, we moved to looking at line charts. Anytime you have a time series data point, anytime you have a date feed are known as time series data points. Anytime you have them in your data set, you can look at information over a period of time. Here we looked at the profits on a monthly basis across the entire calendar year that we have in our data sets. Now we can see we have like a zero axis here, which denotes the 0 points, then down to the top, and then we have the negative part. Now, when you are working with pivot table in Excel and you have a negative value that you are using pivot table to summarize, you will notice that the negative value is always inside a bracket. And that's the same thing that Tableau is showing us here. The only difference between your Excel and Tableau is that Tableau is strictly for data visualization. You don't use it to do every data cleaning that you would use your Excel for. Now, aside this, this is the profit, overall profit on a monthly basis. So we are looking at which segment is the most profitable for us by month or by years. So if we drag the segments back, this will break down each value by segment. So we have profits by segment plotted on its own, profits for corporate plotted on its own axis, profit for home office also plotted on its own axis. If we drag profit to our color to show where we have negative values, where we are losing money, we can see, can use ready to drink divergence and click OK. We can see exactly where we are losing money. For every point where you are seeing red, means that we are losing money because they are the negative part of the axis. So which means that if we look through it, we see that we have the most negative profit coming from the consumer segment, then maybe followed by the corporates. We have few negative profits coming from home office because their values are not that much compared to what we have in corporate and home and consumer. So we can use the line chart to look at trends over time. We can look at, okay, what's the number of people? Maybe you are trying to analyze, do a production line analysis, or you are looking at production line optimization. So production line is, you move the raw materials to the mixer. From the mixer, it goes to another thing till it gets to the last machine that is actually, maybe we are producing snacks, let's say gala, till we get to the last point where it's now sliced and possibly packed into the nylon and sealed. Now we have the quantity that are produced on a daily basis, and we have time that, by this hour of the day, this is the quantity that have been produced. We can look at that trend over time and see the period that we are producing more on this particular product line or on this particular production line. So what we want to do is that it's not the machine that is producing at a different speed, it's the people that are there. So we want to look at who are the folks that are manning these machines at this period of time. Then if we see them to be high performing workers, we can sort of switch them to, maybe, instead of having these people coming in the afternoon, why don't we switch them to morning, afternoon, and increase their pay a bit? And you would see more product being produced for just a little increase in the number of in payment to the staff that you have reshuffled their working hour. And also we take that into our own question, which is we want to see the sales across each segment, across each region over time. And we are looking at it on a monthly basis. Now you can see that for hours, we've cleaned it up. We are not seeing those sales bars showing here. We are not seeing anything like months showing at the bottom. Now we can bring it back by clicking the shader, and on the sales also bring back the shader. So that's going to bring back all those things. But as it is too dirty, because what this will allow our audience to do is to try to start comparing the points that we have here against the values that we have on this axis, and that will become a problem. Then they will start looking at, oh, which month are we looking at? Which, of course, they can get those informations by merely mousing over our points, and we can see the region is central. The month of order date is September of 2019, and then the sales that we have is 34,000. If we move to this end here, we can see that's December of 2022, and then the sales that we had is 19,000. Now I can sort of customize this to maybe show me the starting sales, which is January of 2019, and then to also show me the ending sales. For me to do that, I would pick on line ends. Let me show this line ends, and I'm going to just allow that. Now, we can see that at the beginning here, we don't have any sales for East in January of 2019. There is no sales. We only started making sales in February, in March rather. There was even no sales in February, no sales in January, no sales in February. That's why this line is flat. Then we only started making sales in March. We started with 6,000. So what did we do that allowed us to move from 0 to $6,000 in sales? These are the things that we want to look. Oh, did we run a particular ad? What did we do? Businesses are not just running ad anymore. They are not just doing Black Friday. They are not just giving out coupon codes. They are using that to improve their sales, their conversion rates. They are not just redesigning their websites. Most times when you visit website nowadays, you will see that they will put like approximate minutes that you are supposed to read the content that is on that page. Now, there is something that is tracking your movement on the website. This is where Google Analytics comes in. It's like a feature that is embedded within a website that tracks user movements across the website. So maybe we are trying to look at why are we not having sales as regards this particular product. We can try to look at, yes, we've run ads and all of that, and these ads are not converting. So let's start from where the ad is coming from. So when they came in, the page they landed on from the advertising platform that we use, maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram, could be Twitter, could be even LinkedIn, or could be Google itself. So any channel they are coming from, the page that they are directed to, that's the landing page. So if I am to use like about 10 minutes or about 5 minutes to read whatever is on the landing page, and I just clicked order now straight without reading what is on that page, then when I get to add to cart, I did not complete my order. We can try to see why I just decided to click on order now straight up without even reading what the product will do for me. When you are running ad, you can only add as much information as key points of what the product will do for you. But if I really want to know about what that product will give me in full details, I need to read your advert page. But if your tracker is showing that I spent just about 10 to 15 seconds on the main page where I'm supposed to know what the product will do for me, then you should not expect my order to, or you should not expect my clicking on your website to actually convert to anything. And these are the things that businesses takes into consideration before they say, hey, you know what, we want to redesign our website or do whatever it is that we are looking at. And that is, we are using a data set in that regards tonight to work on our dashboarding. Then we talked about text table. Text table is output of what you get when you're analyzing your information in Excel. It sort of just gives your information as a text table. But Tableau takes it a step further. It allows you to be able to add some other features within your text table. You can add icons to your text table just like you can do in Excel and a whole lot of other things. But just as it is hard to interpret the information you are getting from text table in Excel, it is the same with Tableau. When you get information as a text table in Tableau, whoever requests for that information will be the one that would be fighting the urge of how am I going to get the insight from this information that you have presented to me. And like I mentioned, you would always work with people that are number oriented. They always like seeing figures on their face. So you have people like that you would want to help in order to present their information or whatever it is that they have asked you better. And that is what brought about the highlights table. Now, we also use that to ask questions about what are the sales, quantity, and profits across each region. So we can see the sales, we can see the profits, we can see the quantity. So for Central, we had 8,780 quantity of products sold, not orders. Products sold. If we want to know the number of orders, we can we want to know the number of orders. This from Central region, we had 2,323 orders. That 2,323 orders gave us 8,780 quantity of products sold. From that, we made a profit of 39,706, and then we had the total sales of 501,240. How they go about calculating the profits in this data set, we don't know about it. So we just use the value that they have in place already. Now, if we looked at it, we can see that the higher the number of orders that we received, the higher the quantity of products that will be sold, the higher the profits, the higher the sales. But something is unique here. 2,848 orders gave us about 10,618, and we had the profit of 91,523. This is for the entire years, which is like 4 years of information is what we are looking at in just a single view. So when we want to help our audience to better understand and to be able to derive insights quickly from the data sets, we can introduce highlights table to them. Highlights table still presents their information in textual formats. The only thing that is different there is that highlights table is now giving them a way to quickly analyze the information that is presented to them. So this highlights table is just that we add color to, so this is normally our text table, which is we have the years, we have the region. So 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. These are the sales across each of these regions. But now it's hard for me to know which region in 2019 has the highest sales. For me to get that, I need to be comparing each region sales against each other for the year 2019. Or if I'm trying to look at in which year did I have the highest sales from the East region or from the South region, then it means that I need to be comparing the value of each year against one another. That is going to take a lot of time. But whoever is requesting for a text table or for give me the numbers, not visuals, actually knows the work that is behind them trying to find insights from that view. But we can help them by still bringing the same sales and dragging it to color. What I would do initially is to faint the text based on how high the values are. But we don't need it to faint it like this because this even makes it more hard for anybody to see. So we change our automatic to square, and that will take that color to the back. Now I can see clearly that West in 2020 is where I had the highest sales, followed by this year, which is East, same 2020 was when I had the highest sales. We can easily look at the color and use that to see how the values are faring. Now, if this is not big enough, we can always increase the font size. I can make this, maybe make it 12 and leave it this way. Now it's easier and is more edible for anybody to see. You can look at it and say, hey, okay, I can see the highest sales is coming from West in 2022, followed by East in that same 2022. Then go back to West for 2021. Then again, go back to East. So, which means that if we look through it, we will see that South, West and East are like the two performing regions in terms of sales across the entire year. We are making significant sales from there. And from the two other regions, we can look at promotions, having a targeted ads towards a certain set of people. So we use that to also answer a question, which is the sales across each region by each segment. And that gives us this. So we can see 362 is coming from West across the consumer region. Remember that the last time when we plotted the profits line charts, we saw a lot of negative profits coming from the consumer. So which sort of help us to kind of looked at it in a way that though we have more sales, but having more sales does not equate to giving us more profit when it comes to the consumer customer segment. Then we looked at map, which is when you have visual, you have geographical locations in your data sets, you can present your information in a map format. It's easier for anybody to look at a map and try to remember the states that you are looking at. There are a few customizations that you can do to your map. It depends on what your audience are comfortable with or what you are trying to pass to them. But most times when you are working with map, you have options of using different formattings. If I try to, can I carry this? Let me just put it. Now, if I come to my map, I can go to my background layer. Under the background layer, I can choose different style that I want. This is currently outdoor. So it depends on the level of detail that you want your audience to be able to look into. Now, take for example that this is by sales and this is California. So I want to look at what is driving sales in California. I can decide to zoom in. When I zoom into California, or let me just have only California to be what I'm looking at. Now, the more I zoom into California, the more I start seeing informations. I can see Visalia and the rest. Let's try to use another one. I'm not switching again. So let me zoom out. So let me use this. Keep on. Okay, so let's zoom into Nebraska. Now, the more I'm zooming in, we can see this new state, Broken Bow. The more I'm zooming in, I'm seeing more information. So now, the more I'm zooming in, I'm seeing more information. I can see West Side Bakery. I can see Costa County Historical Museum. So maybe products that I'm selling, we can look at products that are selling in this particular states. We can track that to the what's it called, to the maybe restaurants that are nearby, maybe bakeries, maybe that city is filled with bakeries that needs bakery bakery ingredients and all that. Maybe that is what is driving sales in that particular state. We could explore it as per product. Oh, so in this state, which product is selling? Then we can now go into the state and see the surroundings, what we have surrounding our store. There is something that is called neighborhood analysis. Neighborhood analysis is usually implemented when you are trying to do competitor analysis. So my company is located at the center of London. Let's assume I'm into EdTech. I'm teaching folks data analytics, and I'm also doing consulting by the side. So I'm in the center of London. Now I want to do competitor analysis. I'm going to have my analysis around people that are closer to my proximity, companies that offer the same solution but are closer to my proximity. I can do maybe like 500 kilometers to my current location, or maybe even 10 or 20 kilometers to my current location. I did one computer analysis for a company in Lagos, and the data they provided anyways was not really that informative. So we had to start using third-party data. That is, look for companies that are around there, and they now start plotting manual distance between this company's location and their competitor's location. Very stressful work, but at the end of the day, they were able to come up with a unique product or a unique service that differs from what their competitors are offering. And that's the whole goal of being able to know what you want to present to your audience and how to actually go about it. So we have satellite map settings that will show you like you are looking at a satellite image. Now, you can't work with map in your Tableau if you are not connected to the internet. You need to be connected to the internet for you to be able to work with your map. Most times you will see maps that are dark like this. Not or you even see some maps that don't have anything. They are just straight up in this format. Light, nothing at all is showing. They just empty like this. They are still map, and that still does not stop them from providing information that they want to provide. The only problem you are going to have here is that all those things that we are seeing have been unchecked here. So it's hard for us to see them. Maybe what I want to see, my audience to see, is when they zoom into the map, I want them to see the streets, highways, roads that are around that particular data points that they are exploring. Then aside that, we also use it to explore our own information by looking at the sales per state. We looked at the states per sales, and also we created a band. Band a big aggregated number. These sort of points your users, like it gives like a summary of whatever it is that is going on in your data sets. So I can see the total sales, I can see the total profit, I can see the total quantity. If I want to get the total number of orders that we have, I can also add that. And so it means I have 9,994 orders. That was what gives us 37,873 products sold. Then we made a profit of 286,000 and had a sales of 2,297,000 thereabouts. Then we went further to look at what other things we can actually look at by exploring the text table. We can also look at the ship mode by the profit, quantity, and sales. These would also help us to identify which shipping mode are people patronizing the most. Is what people patronizing the most profitable shipping mode for us. So if people are using, take for example now, in terms of profits, I think the least actually has the least profits. The second has this has this. Okay, makes sense. So we can see that the most explored or the most used ship mode actually has the highest profits, and then that follows that range that way. We also looked at some other things, some other customizations you can do to your line charts. So if we go back to our line charts, your line chart does not necessarily have to be a straight line. So when you are working with some charts in Tableau, you are giving this extra card here, this extra mark here. That extra mark is specifically for that chart type that you are using. So if you click on this part, we can see different lines that we can decide to use for our line charts. I can decide to not use the usual line that is just being drawn. I can decide to use this that is called step kind of line charts. If you play this game, Snake, something on Nokia 3310, this game was actually a very serious thing for, and I think this is even more straightforward. We can see that, oh yeah, we are starting at the high point and our sales is actually going up. So which means that looking at the next year, we actually end our sales on a high end. But looking at East, our sales actually ended on the lower end. So our sales is coming down. So which means that by this is December, by January, we should still be expecting like a lower sales and and we can do forecasting to this. If I go to my analytics, I can do forecast to this, and it will ask me what am I looking at. So this is the actual, which is the blue, and this is my estimate. Now, if I look at this, you can see that from here now, this is October, our December is 15, our December is 13,000. So if we look at March or January of 2023, it's actually predicting that we are going to have that same 13,000 across the whole of 2023. But if we look at the central, our central actually ended on a 40,000 sales in 2022. But it predicted that we are going to have a drop of sales in January of 2023. Then we are going to be having that. Oh, it's predicting that yeah, we have like more sales in September of 2023. But at the end of the day, it's still predicting that for December of 2023, we are going to have our sales to end at 46,000. Initially, our sales here ended at 40,000. So it's saying that for December of 2023 to December of 2022 to December of 2023, we are going to have like an increase of $6,000 in terms of sales. And we can see for some, it's just a blank straight line, just telling you, hey, don't even expect. Now, this is just forecasting. Don't even expect to have like more than 13,000 so worth of sales across the whole of next year, which if we look at is sort of applicable to South and Central. But if we look at, oh, you are going to have changes in your sales and all of that, we can see it across East and West. For East, we are going to end at 48,000. We are ending our December year at 48, but he's saying that our January sales is going to be 8,000. So that's like a whooping $40,000 dollars loss in terms of sales. But this is just forecasting, it's just telling you what you are likely to expect in the future. And this is what data science, machine learning engineer, or whatever it is that they call themselves, actually bank on and are using to make their own money. That is what you can freely shoot up in your analysis in Tableau. Now, we also looked at area charts. So area chart is still a line chart with the difference that instead of having all these spaces to be blank, instead of having all of these spaces to be blank, I think I can remove this. Okay, let me just Control Z that so that I can remove that. So instead of having all of these spaces to be black, area chart is going to put colors to them. It's going to put colors to them. And you can see that that last cell that we have here is not available for your area charts. So those are like just the distinct difference between your area charts and your line chart. And sometimes you can use your area chart to present the same information if you don't want to use line charts to do that. Then we talked about, okay, there is nothing on this page. 16. Okay, we talked about pie charts. What was I trying to do here? I think I was trying to play around. Now we talked about pie charts. Now, this is a very bad pie chart. Very bad. Very bad. Now, too many slices for us to even know which one is bigger than which one. We have this and this to look like they have the same size, but they don't. They're actually different. If you look at their sales value, they are sort of different. But how do you create a pie chart that is useful for your analysis and that you can use? We first change this mark here to pi. When we change it to pi, we can see that we have a new cell here called angle. Now, we are going to drag our sales to that angle, and that would create a pie of one big value for us. Has not been divided, just like when your pizza has not been sliced. So it's just one. Now, we now want to slice this into 4. At most, your pie chart should be of maximum of 5 slices. At most, 5 slices. You don't want to go beyond 5. Now, we have ship mode, and I'm going to drag ship mode to color, and that will divide it into the appropriate sizes for each of those ship mode. Now, the size of each slice is equivalent to the value that each of those ship modes are holding. Now, we can see that for this standard class is 1,358,000. If we go back to our sheet 12, that is exactly what we have here as our sales for the standard class. So you want to use this kind of text table to sort of understand that, hey, what my chart is using, or what my chart is using to plot any of these charts, is the actual value. I was trying to do a data validation about 2 days ago, and I created the chart in Tableau, and I was trying to validate the number that the chart was showing me. So I decided to open up the charts, the same data sets in Excel, and try to do a textual form of what I have in my Vs. And for one reason or the other, the text that I was getting in Tableau is different from what Excel was showing me. But I knew what I did in Tableau was correct. But I just need to validate that, yes, what I've done is actually correct. Should anybody say, hey, how can we trust this figure? How do you go about it? And it took me about roughly 2 to 3 hours to be able to figure that out. One thing with data presentation is that once your audience lose trust in you, there is nothing you can do to gain that trust back. So you want to try as much as possible to always give them a validated insight. Take, for example, Zillow. Their data team had actually forecasted that keeping money and borrowing people money to buy houses is going to be a bad business for them on the long run. But the management did not listen. In fact, the management went ahead to go and start buying houses for themselves on behalf of Zillow so that they can now start selling to people. Then the real estate market crashed and they almost went bankrupt, like almost closed down. But who were the ones that got fired or that took the fall? It was the data team. They fired some people in the data team, possibly people that advised them or people that didn't really say anything that, hey, you shouldn't do this and all of that. But you should always tell your story. You always tell what you have seen in the data. For them to take action or not is actually left to them. So you can't enforce your stakeholders to actually take decision based on what you have presented to them. Is their headache to use you are giving them drug to their headache. So if they like, they take it. If they like, they don't take it. When it becomes problem for them, a major problem that they start losing money, they will sit up better and do something about it. Then we also looked at word cloud. Word cloud basically just means representing your information, but using the raw form that they have been presented to you. Now, word cloud are used mostly when you are trying to do text analysis. You want to see what is the prevailing keywords in your data set. You are trying to do sentiment analysis. You want to see how are people reviewing your service. What are the keywords that are common within your review or your product sales and all of that. You want to analyze which trends, which hashtag should you use to promote your product on LinkedIn or to promote your product on Instagram and the likes. People don't just jump on hashtag and start using it to promote products. They research about these hashtags and say, hey, this will definitely trend. Oh, we've seen reviews about our products. It actually includes this particular keywords. When I'm trying to buy a product or do anything, or I want to check for anything that is trending online, I just search for a particular keyword. And what Twitter will do is it will list every single tweet that has those keywords or that word that I've inputted into my search box. And word cloud is a way to help you to easily analyze that. Then we looked at tree map. This is more like very complex. If we break it down back to what we have before, this is sales across each region in the data set. Now your tree map is an hierarchy data set. You can't change the order at which it has been arranged. The way it has been arranged is how it's going to be. But it also works like your highlights table. But this time around, every single thing is just based on a card, more like a rectangle, what have you. Now, the bigger the rectangle does not denote the size. What denotes the value for your tree map is the color, or how deep the color is, means higher value. Then the lighter the color, the lower the value. And then any value that you are seeing first is the top. So it always arranges in this format. But sometimes if you introduce some other elements into your tree map, it sort of rearrange the way it does all of this. So let's assume I decide to introduce segments into this. Now we can see that it has rearranged this whole thing. Now I have west, west, west. So this is west for consumer. This is west for consumer. This is west of corporate. This is west of home office. Then I have south of consumer, south of corporate, south of home office. And if you look through it, consumer is actually the least here in central. Home office is second. Home office is also second in east. So if we look at it, we can say that after the consumer, after the corporate, here corporate is the least in east, consumer is leading. Consumer is leading in 3 regions: west, south, and east. But corporate is leading in central. It's coming as second in west, it's coming as second in south. But in east, it's coming as the last sales or last segment. But home office that we have seen come last in central, in west and south, is actually coming second in east and central. So whatever it is that we are doing that is making home office products to be highly adopted in the east and central region, we want to keep doing it and even do more of it, so that we can have more sales of that products from those 2 regions. Then aside that, I think we looked at Bing, which like histogram. We looked at what's that? Dual axis charts, no, shared axis charts. All of these are still what you can watch in the last class recording. Then we also looked at a dual axis chart. We looked at the differences between the shared axis chart and the dual axis chart. Now for the shared axis charts, you cannot customize your chart separately. You can only use one thing to present whatever information that you are looking at. Your shared axis chart means that you want to present multiple measures for a single dimension. Our dimension is region. This is region, and we are looking at, for each segment in all of the region, we are looking at the sales and profits for every segment in each region. Then when you are working with a dual axis chart works separately. It works in a way that you can use two different chart types to explain a single information. So let's assume that I'm trying to look at the states that I have the highest sales, the state and their sales values, which is what the map is showing me. But let's now assume that I now want to know the states where we are profitable and where we are not profitable. Those are two different things. So it means that I can have a state. Let me see if I'm at the end, or I'm not at the end. Which one is it? That's pie chart. So let me just have a new one here. Now, I'm going to have my state to the middle. State, province and states. Okay. So I have my state. Now I want to see the states where I'm profitable. So which means that I will go down to my profit and drop it here. Now this is showing me by size, but I want to make it this. Now, for everywhere you are seeing orange, means that I have negative profits. That is what this orange bar part is showing. And for where you are seeing blues, means that I have profit there. I'm not running at loss. I'm actually making actual profits. But what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to change this color from this and make it a red and green. So I want to have a step to just be 2. So give every part that is low, give them red. Every part that is positive, give them this. So I apply this, and we can see for every place that you are seeing red, I am running at loss there. Our profit are negative. We are not making actual sales. We are not profiting from these regions, but we are making sales there. Now, if I have the same map, I have the same states, and here I'm dropping my sales to be this. Now, all of these states shows that I'm actually making sales. That is why we can see this. I will change this color also to like green, because what I'm dealing with is sales. So I'll just click up OK to that. So it will change it to green, but then I will increase it to 100. Now, this is the state where I have the highest sales. This is the state where I have the next highest sales, then followed by this, then followed by this. Then for every other places, I have sales there. I'm going to drag my sales and drop it to label so I can see those sales value there. So it means that at least in all of these states, I'm making sales. The least I have is 1,000. The least I have is 1,000 sales. Now, when I now look at this, I can see states where I have negative profit, but I want to put these two information, these two charts, I want to put them together so that they can show on the same view like this. Not that I have my states with profits separately and I have my states with sales separately. For me to do that, this is where your dual axis chart actually comes in. Your dual axis chart allows you to plot two different charts like this. So for this second one, I'm going to remove sales from it and then change that to profits. Just drag it here. Now I can see this is my profit. So let's change this back to the color of that profit that we had. Red and green. I want it to be just red and green alone. Okay. So we can see where we are making profits and where we are not making profits. Now, How do I combine these two charts together? For me to do that, I'm going to right click on this second value here and click on draw axis. If you click on this first one, it's not going to show draw axis. This has been explained in the previous class. So when I do this, it's going to merge the two together. Now, merging the two together, I can see states and the sales that I have in each of those states. And I can see states where I have negative profits, where I'm not even making profit at all. Let's forget about negative profit. Now, I'm not making profit at all. And these are those regions. Do I have 170,000 worth of sales? There is no profit. Do I have 17,000 worth of sales? There is no profit. Do I have 35,000 worth of sales? There is no profit. And this is how you can create draw axis charts. Now, I implemented the same thing here by using a circle. We can even change this circle to arrows instead of that. I can change it to this upper arrow. So let me quickly create a calculated feed that would call profit so that we can add two icons to that profit. So if profit is greater than 0, then yes, else no. That's just it. So we click OK to this. Now, if I drag this to color, I have no and yes. I don't want to drag it to color. Let me drag it to shapes. So I can pick two different things. So I'll go to shape, and for my no, I'm going to pick X. For my yes, I'm going to pick this up arrow and click OK. Now, what I'm now going to do is, wait, let's see. Okay, I now need to drag the same profit to color. Yes, so I have that. I'm having two different things. Okay, let me change this one. Let's just use this. Plus maybe apply. Okay. Something is up. I can see plus, but for my X is still showing profit is no here. My X is still showing okay, cool. So I have this no for this, and then let's just use okay, let's use this. Let's use this. Here's that filler. Yeah. So for where I have the icon to be yes, I'm going to change yes to green and no to red. And I can easily see for every places I have red. Greater than 0 is okay. This is red. This should be the green. This should be the red. Okay. Now, for every place I can see this thing have changed. I have profits, sales. That's the sales. Oh, we did not use this thing here. We need to drag the profits to color. Okay, that's why it's showing now. So for every places where I can see that, and I need to bring this profit. Okay, that was why it didn't show. Okay, cool. Now it's showing. So we can see for places where those things are plus white, means that we have positive profits. But everywhere we are seeing the star, means that it is no. You have a negative profit coming from there. So you can use icons and combine things together in order for you to be able to present your information. Now, I was talking about doing advanced charts and all of that. A donut chart is an advance. We also looked at how to create this in the last class. So the donut chart allows us to It's still a pie chart, just that it allows us to be able to add more information into what we are presenting to our users. Now, I have the total sales value to be in the middle, and then at the end, I'm showing the percentage of this value that each of these slides are holding. So, standard class is holding approximately, you can just leave it as 59.12% of 2,297,000. I think there are some people that sort of works well with looking at percentage. I think I love what I'm hearing. And we can see that same-day delivery actually has the least in terms of percentage sharing for the total sales that we're able to make from all of our shipping mode. Then we also looked at stacked bar charts. Now, most of these things, you might not even end up using them. You might use them only when you feel like, oh, I want to present like multiple information with just a single bar. Now, this thing is showing me the sales across each segment with just a single bar. So I have a single bar that has been divided into 3. Now, this single bar, you can have it to be divided into 4, divided into 5, based on whatever dimension it is that you are using to divide them. But you also want to make it very small so that it's not too much. As it is already, it's hard for your audience to start comparing which, take for example now, corporate, is it in East that we have more sales for corporate or in West? That's hard because their values somewhat look similar. Same thing with Central. Oh, do we have more sales in terms of for consumer coming from the Central when compared to West or when compared to East? Or look at East and West, which one has the highest sales for Central? Now, each of these lines or each of these shortened bars are not starting at the same axis. Corporate is starting at a lower point here, but it's on high ladder here. It's even on high ladder compared to this, and same thing with this. So it becomes hard to compare this with this. It becomes hard to compare this. This is just 363 with this 351. It becomes hard 200 to compare to this 226. They seems like they have the same height if you look at how their base values are actually being plotted. So multiple visuals, your choice in however you want to use them. Then we looked at some basic calculations in Tableau. That was where we got to know about this particular one that allows us to have, oh, I think that was the chart that I removed, user. We have, I think it was when we were exploring some visuals we can look at from the Tableau repository that we saw something like when we opened up dashboard, it was showing, hey, welcome and my username. And we're able to find that information in the last class. Now, I have a column called user where that we use to get the user information. More like when you are trying to customize your value to the user. Let me look for it again, get user. So when I drop this here, this is showing the name that is registered to this laptop. Now, if I try to save this workbook to Tableau desktop, it's going to ask me to sign in. And immediately I signed in, it's pulling my username that has been registered on the Tableau website, which is the same thing that we can do when you are working with different stakeholders. So you can build a custom page that gets their name and say, hey, welcome, whatever their name is, and say, oh, you can start exploring the forest to get insight into the information that and you see it's saying you cannot save because I'm getting user information, but you can see it has changed that thing to now my name. This is my name from the Tableau repo. I can customize this and add few other things to it that would make the user feel like, yes, this person is including me into their work, getting your users to be to feel seen even before exploring whatever information it is that you have for them to explore in your dashboard. So we talked about dashboard a bit. What are the elements of dashboard? We're actually supposed to look at some charts today and build a basic web analytics dashboard, but we'll just do that on Saturday. So dashboard basically allows you to bring all of the information that you have gathered. It allows you to bring them together to paint a single view for your audience. This could be a static dashboard that is just showing everything that you have seen and not adding any sort of information or whatnot to it. And that was actually what we were supposed to do with this web marketing analytics. So the information was from a website from one of the past clients I've worked with, but we removed any information that might look like we remove every sensitive information. So they are trying to look at where are people coming from. Now, your business is in UK. It's not just people from UK that are visiting your website. People from different region, different country, different states are actually looking into your website, trying to buy into your service and whatnot. And you want to leverage the fact that you have a website to be able to customize your information better, or whatever thing it is that you are giving to your user in a better way. A way that you can do that could be that you want to show maybe people from China. You want to have your website automatically translated to China if it's coming from somebody that is browsing from China. Or maybe you want to change your website to German language if the user is coming from Germany, or maybe Spanish, or anything that, these people might find it hard to easily digest the English that is on your dashboard. And this is what we're actually supposed to create today. Very clean and straightforward. The total website visits, number of page views, number of times that people have downloaded one or two things on their website. And we can see that this business is actually based in Europe. So they have more visits from the European countries because, of course, Germany and the likes and whatnot. We can see that they have people coming in directly, like I just type in femaletechpreneur.com, bam, straight, without searching Google and all of that. We have organic, or people that search for, okay, maybe I'm searching for female inclusive business or female inclusive technology platform, and female tech pops up. Those are organic. Referrals are coming from an ad, or maybe Facebook ad, Google ad. Facebook is your CPC, click per cost, or people that we send email marketing to, or people that get our information using feed. You can see that for this business, Twitter is not really performing. So if they have information that they are running on Twitter, they just want to just stop it and not continue the ad on Twitter anymore. In fact, what they want to do is to ensure that they are improving their customer service. So when I ask, hey, I want to learn data analytics, you won't tell me, we'll go and search for this business. You would send me their website directly and say, you know what, this is their website. Read more about them. That is direct. Referral is, okay, I'm jumping from Facebook ad or from Google ad and then jumping to the website. And we can see the page where people are going into the most is the users page. So which means that, yes, people are actually registering to ship out or to complete their order. So for whatever product it is that customers have gotten to the checkout page. When you get to the checkout page is when you actually need to create a user account for you to be able to finalize your checking out. Now, if we explore that, we realize that some of their payment system or their payment gateway were not actually supported in some countries. So they had to introduce more payment gateway into their business so that they are able to collect money worldwide. I'm just hoping that there will be one business that will wake up tomorrow and just solve the global currency crisis. One platform, collect any form of currency. That business is going to make a lot of money. Then we have people searching for training. People go to training page, try to register for the page. They looked at examples, maybe on a page where we are talking about why you need to learn data analytics. We had a list of examples of projects that we added that takes you to like an example page where you can see all of those things. These were actually some of the contents that they provided. And if you look at it, very messy data set when we actually started out, but we had to clean it, consolidate it with other table. So they have like, I had to get this location from Wikipedia, but they have their own web analytics that was put from their Google backend and then sent to me. So this is what would also try to build in the next class. Funny that we might actually have a different view from this, which might be something else. I think I designed the dashboard in 3 views and share with them for them to pick whichever one that they feel best presents whatever it is that and this is not their name. This is just a placeholder for me to like put there that makes my work look better. So that's going to be it for tonight. So I'll take tonight as just a refresher of what we did in the last class. So next class now we are now looking at delving more into dashboard, because dashboarding is where you now bring all of our visuals together. Now these are different elements that we have here. If you go to each one of them, we can see each one of them here, but you'll be wondering, these icons are not there. Yes, these icons are different. That is what dashboard allows you to do. It allows you to bring in different things to make your dashboard more informative, more interesting for your users to look at. This is an area chart that we have here. Instead of using a line chart, I decided to use area chart. So it sort of beautifies my work because the color in this background here matches what I have here. So whichever chart it is that you are using, and I'm painting the biggest bars as red to make them stand out when I'm presenting it to my audience. And we can see that their users are scattered all around the world. But when you look at each country, we can see that's Russia in Moscow, and their visit is 15,700. This is still Russia. Voronev, they have like 920 persons coming from there. So I have like country and then states and within that country. So that was how I was able to divide whatever number of views that is coming from each of those points. So that's it from my end. And if you have any question, you can ask now. If not, just try as much as possible to go over the lessons from the beginning again. Data analytics is all about creativity. How can you stand out? I came up with 3 different dashboards in about 2 days. Before you actually do dashboard, there are things you need to do. You need to first draft out how your dashboard is going to look like. What information are you presenting first? How do you want to present your information to the audience before you actually jump to the system and start designing? And there are some people that what they are using or what their career path is basically just about is data visualization. That is what they are doing. They don't care about analytics or anything. They are just visualizing data. It's a career path that you can look into and read more about it. It's very lucrative. I have a lot of guys on LinkedIn that's actually doing big in data visualization, just data visualization. And most of them works from Upwork majorly. So that is it from my end. Again, if there is no question, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and oh, that should be stop sharing the screen, not share. And over the mic to Mrs. Bookie. Thank you.